Good morning everyone, welcome back to Rat Burger. We're on chapter 21 and 22 today. I wonder if Zoe's going to escape. I hope so, because she's in a room with two horrible people. Shall we find out? Here we go then. Chapter 21 is called Sizzling Bottom. It was as if there had been an earthquake, but at least Zoe's arms and legs were now free. Somewhere in the dust cloud, in her now shared bedroom, she could hear Tina and her stepmother coughing. Zoe knew she now had a split second to make her escape. She rushed forward. Unable to see anything, she used her hands to desperately find a door handle. Zoe opened the door and hurled herself into the corridor. Completely disorientated by the explosion of dust, it was only now she realised she was running through Tina's flat. It was even grottier than Zoe's. There was no furniture or carpets to speak of. The wallpaper was peeling off the walls, and there was a smell of damp everywhere. It was as if they were living like squatters in their own flat. However, this was no time for a makeover, even a 15-minute one like on TV. And after a few moments, Zoe found herself at the front door. Her little heart pounding faster than it ever had before, she tried desperately to unlock the door. Her hands were trembling, and she was unable to turn the bolt. Then, out of a cloud of dust behind her, stumbled two monstrous ghostly figures, huge and looming, all white but with open screaming mouth and eyes bulging out, red in fury. It was like something out of a horror film. "Ah!" screamed Zoe. Then she realised it was Tina and her stepmother, both covered from head to toe in white dust. "Ah!" screamed Zoe. "Come here," shouted Sheila. "I'm gonna get you," bellowed Tina. Zoe's hands shook even more, but she just managed to open the door in time. As Zoe slid out, four chubby hands, caked in white dust, grabbed at her clothes, ripping strips off her blazer. Somehow, Zoe managed to slip away and slam the door behind her. Running down the communal corridor, Zoe realised that both ways out of the great leaning tower block, the stairs and the lift, were sure to result in capture. Then Zoe remembered there was scaffolding on the far side of the flats. Thinking there might be a way down somehow, she raced over. She opened a window and climbed out onto the scaffold before closing the window behind her. A wicked wind shook the thin boards beneath her feet. She looked down. 37 floors. Even the buses on the street looked tiny, like little toys. Zoe's head spun. This was beginning to seem like a terrible idea. But behind her, Tina and Sheila's furious faces were pressed up against the glass, and they were banging on the window. Without thinking, Zoe ran along the outside of the building, as her stepmother and Tina fought to be the first onto the scaffold to give chase. At the end of the wooden walkway, there was a large plastic tube that went all the way down 37 floors to the skip. Zoe had thought it looked like a water slide, though it was designed to pass all the unwanted bits of debris from the building repairs down to the ground safely. It was just big enough for a little girl. Turning round, Zoe saw Tina and her stepmother a few paces behind her. She took a deep breath and leapt into the tube. Red plastic surrounded her as she slid faster than she could ever have imagined, screaming as she went. Down, down, down. Would it ever come to an end? Down, down she swirled, travelling faster and faster as she neared the ground. The little girl had never been on a water slide, and for a moment the sensation of travelling so fast on her bottom was fun. As there was no water, though, her bottom became hotter and hotter as it rubbed against the plastic. Then, without warning, the ride finished and the little girl flew out of the tube into the skip. Fortunately, there was an old mattress someone had illegally dumped in there, and it cushioned her fall. her sizzling bottom now cooling, Zoe looked up at the scaffold. There she is, plopping out the tube. She could see her oversized stepmother stuck in the mouth of the tube, with Tina vigorously trying to push her down by putting all her weight on the woman's huge bottom. Push and push as much as she might, Sheila's body just wouldn't fit. Zoe couldn't help but smile. She was safe, for the moment at least, but she knew someone she loved was in the most terrible danger. If she didn't find Armitage fast, he would be pulverised. Chapter 22. Free Spirit. It was only when she looked at her reflection in a shop window that Zoe realised that, like Tina and Sheila, she also was covered from head to toe in dust. She had wondered why passers-by had been giving her funny looks, and why children in pushchairs burst into tears when they saw her. Wiping the dust off her little plastic watch, she saw it was nearly lunchtime. Bert's van would be parked outside the school playground, as it always was, frying up his noxious burgers. The dust had gone right down the back of her throat, and Zoe was desperately in need of a drink, so she made a short pit stop. Ding! "Ah, Miss Zoe!" exclaimed Raj. "Is it Halloween already?" No," spluttered Zoe. "It's, Mufti Day at school, you know, where we can wear whatever you like." Raj studied the small, dusty girl. "So, forgive me, but what have you dressed as?" "Dust Girl." "Dust Girl?" "Yes, Dust Girl. She's a superhero, you know." "I have never heard of her." "She is very popular." "Dust Girl, eh? So, what's her superpower?" inquired Raj, genuinely curious. "She's very good at dusting," replied Zoe, now desperate for the exchange to come to an end. "Well, I must look out for her." "Yes, I think they're bringing out a Dust Girl movie next year." "It's sure to be a blockbuster," replied Raj, clearly not 100% convinced. "People do love to watch someone doing the dusting. I know I do." "Raj, please can I have a drink?" "Of course, Miss Zoe. Anything for you. I've got some bottles of water there." "Just tap water would be fine." "No, I insist. Take a bottle from the chill cabinet." "Well, thank you." "My pleasure," smiled Raj. Zoe made her way from the counter and selected a small bottle of water. She downed most of it, then washed her face clean with the remainder. Instantly, she felt a whole lot better. "Thank you, Raj. You're so good to me." "You're a very special little girl, Miss Zoe, and not just because you are ginger. Please can you pass me the empty bottle, Miss Zoe?" Trampling dust through his little shop, Zoe returned the bottle to Raj, and he took it off behind the multicoloured plastic curtains to the back. Zoe could hear the tap running, and a few moments later he reappeared to pass the bottle back to her. "If you could pop it back in the cabinet, please," he said with a smile. "But it's covered in dust, and it's got my spit all round the top." "And the beauty of the scheme, my friend, is there's no extra charge for the spit," said Raj triumphantly. Zoe looked at the newsagent and then dutifully returned the water bottle to where she had taken it from. "Goodbye, Raj." "Goodbye, Dust Girl, and good luck." Ting! Now, Zoe felt a tiny bit like she was a superhero, albeit one of those whose special power was dusting. However, just like a superhero, she was fighting evil. Powering down the street, a trail of dust behind her, Zoe soon spotted Bert's van. It was parked where it always was, outside the school playground, and there was a line of eager children queuing down the road. Approaching from the roadside, she saw the van was emblazoned with Bert's Pest Control. That's curious, she thought. Zoe hid behind the defaced and battered school sign and waited until the bell rang for the end of lunch break. She couldn't risk being seen back at school since she was suspended. That could lead to instant expulsion. Ring! The bell finally rang and Bert served his final customer, squirting the particularly dark ketchup onto the distinctly unappetising looking burger. Zoe scuttled across the road and hid on the other side of the van where it faced onto the pavement. Looking up at the writing this side, she saw that it read Bert's Burgers. This is so strange, whispered Zoe to herself. The van said Bert's Burgers on one side and Bert's Pest Control on the other. Zoe stared at the van. The creepy man was only using the same vehicle for catching rats that he did for frying burgers. Zoe was no expert, but was pretty sure the government's Food Standard Agency would take a very dim view of this. It was going to result in an angry letter at least. The van's engine started. Zoe scampered around to the back, silently opened the door and leapt inside. She closed it as quietly as she could behind her and lay down on the cold metal floor. The engine started up and the van drove off, with Zoe inside it. So she's managed to escape Tina Trotz and her wicked, wicked stepmother. And now she's hiding in Bert's burger van and they're driving off somewhere. I wonder if Armitage is in the van. Let's hope so she can rescue him and hopefully get away from Bert as well. Chapter 23. Tomorrow is called The Pulverization Machine. And chapter 24 is called Child Burger. I hope Bert doesn't catch her. We'll find out tomorrow, shall we? I hope you enjoyed that chapter. I certainly did, and I'm really glad that Zoe's sort of safe. Just for now anyway. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye everyone.